Creatives, the big problem with traditional style piano exercises is they tend to be repetitive and unmusical and pretty dull to play, right? Imagine having to eat the same food every single day, but you weren't allowed any flavour at all. It would get pretty uninspiring, right? Well, the same is true for piano exercises. It's way more fun when they have some musical flavour to them. So in this video, I'll show you 3 great sounding exercises that also help you with those vital core skills you need as well, so you feel good and you feel inspired when you sit down and play that piano. So let's kick off with exercise 1. Sounds like this. So I love this one. It kind of reflects a more traditional piano exercise, but it sounds way more musical. And some of you may recognize its sound. Sounds quite familiar, right? Anyway, right hand into this position up here. So we've got, I think this exercise sounds really nice up the piano, but from middle C, we want to go up 2 octaves, and we want to put our little finger on the C at the top. And then we're going to cycle through the C, the 3rd finger on the G, the 2nd finger on the F, the thumb onto the E, and then back up to the F, the G, and the C. So the first thing to do is just stick that pedal down and just have a go at seeing if you can get those notes really nice and even. And that really does sound familiar, right? So, relax at the shoulder, relax down to the fingers, but keeping that element of control. So none of this. Yeah, want really nice, a light touch and really nice. Now, in the left hand, we're going to do something quite similar, except it's got a bit of contrary motion going on here, so it's good for coordination as well. And we're going to start off with our little finger on the C, and we're going to cycle up the C, the E with our 3rd, the F with our 2nd, and the G with our thumb, and then back down again. F, E, C, E, F, G, F, E, like this. So it's very similar. In fact, it's the same exercise, just sort of mirrored, it's flipped. So again, you want to try and get used to that, and if your left hand is weaker and you haven't done much of this in the left hand, it might take you a little bit longer. But again, it's about relaxation, it's about finger control, smoothness, all of that good stuff. And then when you're ready, it's nice and slow, you want to put that together like this. And you get that kind of really nice, ethereal kind of soundscapey sound, which I think sounds really nice and pleasing. And to turn this into something a little bit more interesting, all you're going to do is you're going to do that for a cycle of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to make this, to kind of introduce a new chord into the equation, all you're going to do is you're going to move these 3 notes here, the E, the F, and the G, to the F, the G, and the A. And we're going to move these 3 notes, the E, the F, and the G, to the F, the G, and the A. And then exactly the same thing like this. So the only thing, the exercise should feel exactly the same. The only thing we're changing are those 3 notes. And then you do 4 cycles on each. So there we go. That's exercise number 1. Now let's move on to exercise number 2. I love this one for a few reasons, okay? Number 1, if you just want to look impressive, right? You just want to sit down and play something that looks great for anybody, then this exercise is for you with this sort of over and under thing going on. Looks really impressive. But also there's something to be said about taking a step back from having to maintain a tempo, be within a specific time signature, and just go free. Unlock that kind of ability to enter the present moment and just forget about any particular time signature and just go free. And this is an excellent way to do that. So that's what I want you to bear in mind when you do this. When you get good at it, it's all about just varying the speed, varying the tempo, and getting into that flow. Speed it up, slow it down, just experiment and be playful, okay? So left hand, 2 octaves below middle C, and we're going to just essentially cycle up the C major chord. So we start down at the bottom, C, E, G, and then in the right hand, C, E, G. 5, 3, 1, 1, 3, 5. Now, whilst you're playing that in the right hand, this is where things get really interesting. You're going to hop that left hand over the top to this exactly the same position, but just in this C position here, the middle C position, and you're going to continue that smoothness, okay, keeping that same smoothness moving up. You're going to continue the notes, and then whilst you play the C, the E, and the G, the right hand comes underneath and into the C position at the top here. So from the bottom, we get this C, E, G, C, E, G, left hand over the top, C, E, G, right hand underneath, C, E, G. And then we just flip it around and we go back down. Exactly the same notes, right hand over the top, left hand underneath. Okay, so C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, E, C, G, E, C, right hand over the top, G, E, C, G, E, C, okay? So, after that, to make this more interesting, more like a sort of a musical pattern, what we're going to do is, just like before, we're going to play with the C chord and the F chord. So now, we're going to move our notes from this position, so our C major chord, we're going to move to the F second inversion chord. So C, F, A in the left with 5, 2, 1 this time rather than 3, so we're going to switch our fingering in the left, and then in the right, C, F, A, 1, 3, 5, same fingering, and then we're just going to keep the exercise exactly the same. So we start at the bottom, we move up, and then back down again, yeah? Don't even attempt to count this in terms of 4/4. It does work, I guess, but really, it's just getting used to forgetting about all that and just playing. You know, that's what it's all about, in my opinion. That's what piano should be all about. Playing. So that is exercise 2. I think that sounds absolutely beautiful. Let's move on to exercise number 3. Now, before we dive into this one, you can grab the sheet music for free by clicking the link in the cards up above or the information box down below. Now, this exercise I have chosen because it helps you so much with rhythm and timing, which is the number one problem I see my beginners make, or the biggest problem that they have when they start playing piano, rhythm and timing. So there's so many ways we can tackle that skill. This is just one of them, and it involves a bit of having to flip the way that we think about timing in real time throughout this exercise. So in the right hand, we're going to play a B flat and an E flat, and yes, we've changed key, we're in E flat, why not? Something a bit different. And we're just going to get a bass going like this of 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So B flat and E flat, nice and bouncy. And that's going to be our foundation. It's going to be what we're going to, it's going to form the basis of our rhythm here, our groove. Now in the left hand, this is where things start to get a bit more interesting. I'm going to play single notes here, but remember, you can play full octaves if you're used to that. It sounds great with full octaves, but for single notes, we're just going to play an A flat, a C, third finger, E flat with our thumb, and then a B flat with our 4th. Okay, so we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so far relatively straightforward. We're just on those core beats. We're on the 1, the 3, the 1, the 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. But however, now what we're going to do is we're going to, in real time, okay, so without any break, we're going to move it forward by 1/8 note in the left hand. So now we're on the and of the 1 and the and of the 3. Same notes, but check this out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And if you're doing this right, it'll really mess with your head, but that means it's working, so stick with it. So if I put those together, it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and back to the beginning. So that ability to switch timing like that is what this exercise is all about. Yeah? So that was exercise 3. Hope you enjoy it. And do not forget, you can grab the sheet music for all 3 of these exercises by clicking the link in the cards or the information box down below. It's all free. And you might also be wondering, well, great, you know, nice sounding exercises, but what's next? What can I do with them? Well, for that, you can check out my top 5 right-hand patterns that turn beginners into pros right here, and you will be playing real music in no time. See you in the next one.